Welcome back, everybody. So I'm going to continue with body reading fundamentals and continue with talking about the neck. So in this part of the neck, when we're body reading a person, we're maybe seeing what's called more of a flat neck. Flat neck I find is a little less common. I actually find the rounded shoulders and the neck protruding forward more common these days. But when you do see this, or if you notice this in yourself, why is it happening? Well, there's a number of reasons, but one of the most common reasons I find is that as we get older, the intervertebral discs in the neck, will start to degenerate. And when you couple that together with the weight of our head and our skull, that can also help to, starts to lead to maybe the straightening of the vertebrae in the cervical spine and the neck, right? So we want to be really careful and mindful with this. So what's essentially happening muscularly, this is not the only thing because we know the whole body's connected, but the more superficial neck flexor muscles in the front of the neck, the more superficial ones, and the more superficial neck extensor muscles in the back of the neck are kind of trying to carry the workload of the deeper neck flexors in the front of the neck. So what we want to try to do is bring some balance so that the curvature of the neck can be somewhat restored. So in yoga practice, there's a couple of basic postures, and you'll notice that when we're working with body reading, the nice thing is if you're a yoga teacher, is a lot of these postures are repetitive postures. So they're the same postures that kind of address different kinds of posture situations when we're body reading. So the first posture I want to share, which you're very familiar with to help with flat neck, would be just cow pose. So just gently letting the belly relax to the floor and lifting the head slightly, but I'm still lengthening through the base of my skull, through the crown of my head, so I'm not necessarily lifting and cranking my neck and head forward, okay? So that is a good posture to various degrees depending on how it feels in that person with a flat neck. Then the other posture that's a little deeper that can be tried for maybe a student is camel pose. But the camel pose version, and I'm not going to go through all the mechanics of camel pose to demonstrate this, but when they lift up is that as they start to extend the thoracic spine forward, the middle of the spine and the hips forward, that the head will gently extend back, and lifting the chin slightly back, okay? And then when they're ready to come down, they'll slowly let their butt sit down to the heels and then lift the head. So what this is helping to bring into balance is more of these somewhat over-lengthened back neck extensors, by dropping the head back with control. So really important I find is when I see a student who comes in who has a flat neck, I'm definitely, if we're going to practice any shoulder stand, I'm going to get them to use blankets. Okay, so now they might use one blanket, they might use two. It really depends on how much flexion they have forward in the neck. And I'm not going to demonstrate that in this video, but I wanted to, as far as a body reading point, just describe that when a person has flat neck, it can also happen from repetitive use in their yoga practice. So for example, doing shoulder stand without blankets repetitively, day in and day out. And what that can contribute to is there's a ligament in the middle of the neck called the nuchal ligament. And over time, if you're practicing shoulder stand and you have flat neck, that can loosen this nuchal ligament, which helps to bring the curve into your neck in that part of your spine. And over time, because it gets looser, it's going to take away the curve. And it's not going to rebound back into tightening and bringing that natural curve in the cervical spine again. So we want to be really mindful of that. So using blankets, especially if you see a student with flat neck, is a really good thing to promote. All right? So we'll do it next video. And the next video, I'm going to focus on how that flat neck might be seen also in a more flat thoracic middle spine in students and what we can practice with that. Until then, try things out, see how it feels in your own body. Peace out.